Oh, a little Natalie Merchant, right? 10,000 Maniacs.
Listen,
Is that what that is?
it's always a vibe.
That's too many maniacs.
Oh,
Somebody want to host?
Oh, you talk first. You did
That's
it.
well,
Okay,
well. Listen, the Giants got a big win. 5. You should.
we
host.
did.
Yeah,
gotta
you should
lead
be
with your
happy.
chest. Come on.
You could talk with the Dallas Cowboys. Be like, is this the time the Giants are going to the Super Bowl?
Giants
and you
are
could
going.
just say that.
I've seen enough.
Who's on the
Yeah,
longest
listen.
win streak in here? Oh yeah, me.
Your team sucks, dude.
3 games in a row. 3 games in a row, baby.
Oh, dude, my Steelers beat your team's ass. And you
Yeah,
look
if we played again,
bad.
we would barely beat your ass.
Well,
if we
because you
played
have the
again.
powers of bullshit on your side. I mean, the
No.
Steelers nearly did it against Dallas.
Our
Well, the
defense is
bullshit
better
was
than
not
your
real.
defense now. Our defense is better.
To stay up for that game and to watch it until 12:59 in the morning, and
1
that's
a.m.
how that game ends. Because I was waiting for the Steelers BS to triumph.
Yeah, it was close. It was close.
Papa Grossi's right here, and he's like, I gotta be honest, I did not think they were gonna complete that pass. Like I thought I was gonna be very, very angry. But here we are.
Yeah. I mean, dude, if Dak does not fall on that fumble, the bullshit is real. I'm waving my towel and being like, we're going Super Bowl.
Yeah, that was a great. I mean, that was a great fumble recovery by Dak.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Watching back, I
Cam
was like-
Newton would have done that.
That's exactly the reference I made.
So you guys will notice that Scooter's here. He has a terrible excuse. Hurricane.
We're gonna notice
tornadoes.
Scooter's here.
Yeah.
mean-
So we're able to cuss today, but his excuse is the most invalid I've ever heard. Weather. Pff, okay. Sure. No, we're all doing a fundraiser today for charity. We're raising money for direct relief, 2nd week in a row, because America needs it more than us. Because our dumb punishments don't compare to the punishment that Tampa and Central Florida is receiving. So if you could kindly donate, that would be much appreciated. You don't have to. You can just watch us click and bait. Anyways, we had a week in the NFL. Some things are happening. All of our teams, except for Tree. I think you're the only loser, Tree.
Yeah.
right?
And it's like the polar opposite of Scooter. It was me and Scooter for worst team. And unfortunately, that happened. The Steelers are not going Super Bowl. And it's person.
That's it. It's done now.
Yeah, we.
Now, I know you guys were all bragging about your teams, but my Mets have advanced to the National League Championship Series. So
Yes, they have.
That's
As-
crazy.
Yeah, you're a happy boy. I've been
as a
streaming with you on Dumpster Fire for that.
suffering Met fan, we have advanced past the hated Phillies, which in football terms, Brandon, that's like beating the Chiefs in the wild card round. So it was
Yeah.
very satisfying for that to happen.
And the Broncos
And,
have beat the Chiefs in the playoffs. Oh boy, it feels good.
When was that? When was the last time the Broncos beat the Chiefs in the playoffs?
I mean, they played in
97?
the late 90s.
Yeah, the Elvis Gerback started that
97?
game, I think. Yeah, you're
After
correct.
The 96 season. It was their first. It was Super Bowl on the way to Super Bowl 32. We beat the Chiefs. We beat the Steelers. We beat the Packers. It was a real good man. I wish Clickbait Sports was alive then.
What was that?
Oh.
1996, right?
What's up?
Yeah.
6 going into 7, right? 96.
Yeah,
We could have done it. I was 6 years
those are
old.
tough games too.
I was like 8. I probably would have been pissed at the Steelers losing. But
How old were you, Brandon? You were like 10 when that happened?
I was like 12 or 13.
25.
13.
Oh, those are
Dude,
core memories.
Yeah, I mean,
I was,
5 was like 40 when that happened. So I mean, he could have been like the splinter of this group.
Yeah,
I was I had graduated high school. Or actually, I was in college when that happened, when the Broncos won their first Super Bowl.
97 into 98. Yeah, you guys are right. Sorry.
I am
Yeah.
older than
That's
all
the
of
fact
you
that
guys.
Yeah,
The
31,
NFL
96,
Super Bowl
97.
happens right after the year. You know what I mean? Like changes year right before the Super Bowl. It's always it's confusing. The dumber my brain gets, it's just like I can't remember.
Yeah, I always forget what year the season is referring to, because like you said, the season ends in the following year, but last year was the 2023 season.
Dude, so that happened for a while because when I started this channel, it was from the NFC Championship game, and it's the 2014 NFC Championship game, but it takes place in January of 2015. So I would refer to it as the 2014 because it's the season, right? Like that's the championship game for that season. And people would be like, "It's 2015." I'm like, I know what date it is. I don't know how we got into this
All
conversation.
sports should start on January 1st and end. All of the championships should happen December 31st.
That's the ultimate boomer take.
Yeah,
Every
this
sport
guy doesn't
goes
understand
1 full year.
calendars.
There's a 1 day off season. They get January 1st off. It starts January 2nd. Bam.
I have a question before we get into whatever category that we have not planned out. Did you guys miss it in college football when the national champion would be decided on January 1st and you had no idea who it would be when you woke up? Or do you like the concept of the playoff now?
I don't watch enough football.
I
College
don't-
football.
yeah, I don't watch
I don't really watch
football.
football, guys.
Ernest like, I don't even know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I don't care about the college playoffs. They could have a 4-team, an 8-team, a 32-team playoff. Don't give a shit.
They should do a 64 team like March Madness.
Yeah,
Ooh,
maybe
a
just the whole
64
season
team.
is a playoff.
And then we could have like the 4 days off like we do for March Madness. Like I said, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. First 4 days of March, they should be national recognized holiday.
I miss the chaos though. Like whenever, so a new team would be crowned number 1, and then they would get knocked off, and then then the new team would be number 1, and it would just be like very king of the hill sort of people getting knocked off the top. Now a team loses, like Alabama's going to be in this 12-team playoff. Tennessee is probably going to be in this 12-team playoff. Georgia is going to be in this 12-team playoff. Losses, they used to mean something. Every game used to be a playoff.
Yeah, I wish it was still that, but the problem is now it's like 12 teams. You put in like the Notre Dames of the world, and it's just like, do we really have to see Notre Dame in the playoffs? They're going to lose in the first round like every goddamn year.
Speaking of Notre Dame, the Commanders released Sam Hartman. That was tough to see.
Oh no! What a sad, terrible turn of events. Anyway,
time
let's talk about Spencer Rattler, the real best quarterback of the 2024 class.
I know we're talking about Rattler. I am terrified for Drake Maye. I am not.
I mean, how could you be terrified for that guy? With that offensive line, with Alex Van Pelt calling the same 4 plays over and over again and questions of running back and no wide receivers, you have a question about Drake Maye being okay in that system? Dude, have some faith.
I actually think Drake Maye is in the better position.
Than the Saints right now?
No.
Oh, okay.
He's in a better position than Spencer Rattler. Because we all assume Drake Maye is going to die.
Sure.
None of us even think he's going to finish the game. So if Drake Maye goes out there and plays like just respectable football behind that offensive line, we're going to be like, oh my God. Yeah. He over-delivered, overperformed our expectations because we are all scared for Drake Maye. I don't think there's a sane football person out there who's been like, oh, this is good. This is good for Drake Maye. Nobody's saying that. So if he's just like, he could be below serviceable.
He throws 75 yards and a touchdown. People are like, you know what, Drake? Hell of a job.
That's Sam.
The game.
Yeah,
that's Sam Howell syndrome right there. Remember Sam Howell played 1 game of decent football, and then he started all 17 games for the Commanders, and now he's been cast into the ether.
Yeah, if Drake Maye finishes that game with just 205 broken bones, it's a win. It's a win.
I think Rattler going up against the Buccaneers, like a division game as your first NFL start, is crazy.
That's tricky too.
Yeah. Luckily it's at home,
y'all.
but yeah, I don't think Drake Maye is going to look that good. The Strouds have it out for him. Mm-hmm.
I think when it comes to Rattler, you also have like Kamara that you can hand the ball off to. Like Vita Vea, is going to be a problem. Pern, are you good, buddy?
Yeah. Do you have acid reflux over there? You all right?
Could you hear that? I muted it.
Yeah, you
It's
muted
from
it, but
oh.
I saw it on your face, and I just wanted to
Yeah.
check in to make sure you're good.
It just went down the wrong pipe, guys. And
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's all that hopium inhalation. I completely understand it.
Mhm.
yeah.
Too
But
much
yeah,
Bo
no,
Nix on the brain.
I think Rattler, I'm actually like really curious to see because I'm just curious how he's gonna play. Drake Maye is more of it's like you said, the expectations are so low that if he's able to even be serviceable, you're like, damn, okay, like that's a great start to your NFL career, just knowing the circumstances.
Why do people dislike Spencer Rattler so much? Like
He was arrogant in college. I think that was the reason why. There were some documentaries where he did not look good. That's the reason why.
he does
But-
kind of look like a dude who would pick on the unpopular kids and just be like, do you want to come to this party, and then give them the wrong address, and then they're in a warehouse or something, and they're like,
Bob, did this
What
happen
is-
to you? This is very specific.
no, no, it didn't happen to
Do
me.
you want to
No,
talk about
never.
it, buddy? We can talk.
Listen, I had
Yeah,
to call
wait,
my mom to pick me up in front of this abandoned warehouse. And I was like, oh, the quarterback asked me to come to this. No, that didn't. But that's the kind of thing that, see, I'm a weird dude. I could have been in the popular crew, or I could have been a nerd. You don't know.
Sure.
You don't know. I could have picked on other kids. It's
I mean, you
possible.
probably
I was
did
on the
pick on
base-
other kids.
I was an athlete. I was on the baseball team.
You were a
but,
bench player on the baseball team. What are
I
you talking
was.
about, dude?
I made it though. I was on the varsity baseball team. So
Tree just
Not a
calling it
small
out and
feat.
be like, there's no mystery. We're just gonna cut right through.
Yeah,
That's
you were the
fine.
kind of dude who would probably pretend like you were a key jock, but you were a guy who was just warming the benches. Be like, I'm on the baseball team. It's like you got 5 plate appearances last year, dude. They were during blowouts.
that is accurate. But I played in I went to a high school with almost 1,700 kids, and they only kept 16 kids on the baseball team. So you had to be
That's
pretty
pretty
fucking good to make make
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rattler.
Anyways,
He's walking
Just-
into a good position. With the Broncos needing a quarterback heading into the draft, we did our own research on Rattler, on Drake Maye. We did all the quarterbacks, and Tree made a good point. He referenced QB1, which was the show Rattler was on, and he didn't come off great there. And then he goes to Oklahoma, right? He was there, and then Caleb Williams got there, and then Rattler left for South Carolina. And in a similar way, like with Bo Nix, he had to do some maturing and just like changing of expectations and retooling kind of like how he played. And I thought he did that well at South Carolina. And so like if the Broncos weren't able to get a quarterback in the first round, like we thought they might take a swing on, it was like, okay, they can get Rattler later, and that might be like a decent player to grab. And then this preseason, Rattler played really well for the Saints to the point where people are like, maybe this team should start Spencer Rattler instead of Derek Carr. And then Derek Carr came out, he lit it up for 2 weeks, and then was just Derek Carr again. Unfortunately, he gets injured. So Rattler's got like
It's
the
bad.
perfect amount of time to sit with the
It's
Saints.
bad, dude.
You sit through 4 or
Lots of
5
time.
games, and now you're going against a Tampa team that is a division rival, but the Tampa defense has not been like stellar this season. They've dealt with injuries. Antoine Winfield is limited at practice again. If he can play, that's going to be a big difference for their defense, but it's not like the Tampa defense we got used to seeing over the last few years so far. So, and in his press conference, he said if he's going to try and get the ball to Chris Olave. So that seems like a good plan.
I hope so. I mean,
Seems
he's
like a
done
very
enough
good
for me
plan.
in
Just
fantasy.
throw it to Olave.
Give it to Olave and throw a deep ball or two to Shaheed.
But that's what I mean. Like he is in a better situation in terms of just the support he has around him. Like he has, like Chris Olave is a great wide receiver, right? Like Kamara is a great running back. So to be able to rely on those guys, and then you have New England, where like Drake Maye, they are still looking for that receiver. Like they're trying to get Polk to be that guy, but
Yeah.
they're still searching. So
And, I mean, they have been trying to recover from whiffing on N'Keal Harry,
one.
and they have not recovered. I mean, Juju didn't work out. They have Hunter Henry. He's okay. Jonnu Smith they had for a hot minute, and then Arthur Smith had a boner for him and decided to just like love him to death. And it's just been, I mean, Kendrick Bourne's not bad, but he's more of a wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3.
When is the trade deadline? When is that? Week 6?
November 5th.
Okay. Why isn't Devontae
Hawks
Adams
Day.
traded?
Because they're trying to get
Why
better
isn't he
value
a
for him. They're
Packer?
trying to play a bidding war. Because look, you have the Jets, the Saints, the Steelers, Packers. You got a few other teams
the
looking at him.
Packers are not going to be in on Devontae.
I mean, unless you trade Romeo Dobbs.
They're not going to be in on Devontae. They're just for that contract and everything. And plus, again, like it's a different quarterback. You know, Rodgers does make the most amount of sense unless he just wants to go play with Carr again. But I think Rodgers is, especially the changes that they just made, which we could talk about that because with the whole clickbait crew. Curious on that. Pern and I talked about it on GPS, and it was kind of, we came to the sentiment of, like, yeah, again, obviously not a perfect head coach, right? Great defensive coach, but it's also like week 6, and also how is this offense going to be better? And now Nathaniel Hackett is demoted.
Yeah. I mean, did anyone see Todd Downing in Tennessee?
Yeah.
He was fucking
Oh, I know. Because he beat
terrible.
the Packers on Thursday night, and I was like, this is embarrassing.
Yeah, like you were talking about jet sweeps to your third string tight end and backup quarterback. This is the equivalent of going from Nathaniel Hackett to Todd Downing. It's bad. Like all they did is step back. Todd Downing's most aggressive offensive drive was when he was drunk. That's it.
That's I mean, it's bad. It's
Oh
bad.
yeah, he was the DUI guy.
Yep, it was after the Packers game on Thursday night. He got arrested that night. Yeah, no,
it was flying
this
off
is the guy
plane.
that beat us. And then they lost every game for the rest of the season after they beat our team. Do you know how badly I felt after that? I was like, guys.
Dude, the Packers might be the best team at losing to the worst.
Yeah, I agree with
you
that.
almost lost to the. Did you guys lose to the Panthers or just almost lose?
No, we
to
almost like by a second we won.
Oh, okay, that's right.
Yeah, that was Bryce Young's like career peak moment was going up against our defense. It happens so often. There will be a team that is absolute garbage, and they're like, okay, now we're gonna play.
Yeah,
That's
the
frustrating.
Steelers.
That's the
playing out of
NFL.
competition.
It's fine.
That's the NFL. You never know.
Yeah, we lost
The
to Tommy
team could come out
DeVito.
of
Sorry,
nowhere.
5. But like,
Oh yes.
yeah, we lost
We
to
did
Tommy
lose to
DeVito.
Tommy D.
Tommy
That was
Collins.
terrible.
Hey, you
I think
lost to
that-
Kenny
what was
Pickett
the
too.
final score was like 18-15 or something. It was bad.
So bad.
It was ridiculous.
It was great. What are you talking about?
Dude, the Tommy
It was great
DeVito
for me.
hype. That might be one of the greatest like windows in NFL history that we'll never see again.
I mean, it reminded me so much. Like, who do you think had a better like 4-week window? Tommy DeVito or Duck Hodges? Because Duck Hodges, oh man, he was a folk hero. And then we realized he couldn't throw the football, and we're like, fuck.
Yeah. I think Duck was a little more like localized.
Dude, Josh Dobbs, like the Pastronaut thing, like he for a few weeks, king of the world last season.
Yeah.
The meme
Yeah, he
legend.
had last year was weird.
Yeah.
And Jake
Kyle
Browning
Allen
played
had like
well
a
last year, and
2019.
Flacco comes
Kyle
in.
Allen.
It was the year
Yeah.
of the
Do you-
backup.
Do you know what the strangest hype train was? Bailey Zapp when he had
Bailey
a hype
Zappi?
train. I was like,
Dude,
why
yeah.
are
you know
people
why,
on
5?
this
Who
train?
did he play really well against? The effing Packers. Like, we went into overtime with them. And, like, because Mac Jones got hurt, and we're like, okay, it's Zapp. We should be fine. And then goes out and lights it up. And I was like, you got to be kidding me, man.
The
Dude.
Packers are
Lois,
kingmakers.
you're
They
right.
really
Mike
are.
Yes.
Oh, God, I hate the
It's literally
defense so
about
much
to say that.
sometimes.
He
Yep.
should be in starting Miami right now. I will hear no exceptions about that. He did better than Zach Wilson with the Jets. Mike,
Yeah, Jake-
motherfucking White.
That's a good one. Jake Browning had a hype train.
Oh,
last
Jake
year.
Browning still has a chance. He's just more backup to Joe Burrow. He's never going to get a chance. I feel like somebody will try and trade for him if there's like an issue.
White lightning.
White Lightning.
The Tebow.
Oh,
playoff
Tebow
run.
made
Yeah.
Tebow mania
was
was a real
probably-
thing.
Tebow was
Tebow.
huge.
I mean, the
That was
Jaguars
like an
made him a
8-week
tight
run.
end because
And
he
guess
was
and guess who Tim Tebow beat? The fucking Steelers because
Yeah.
Ike Taylor couldn't cover a fucking fly that day.
Hey,
Tree, that's
Oh,
why our games are always close because we're like, all right, who's gonna play down more to the competition? Like, dude, Roethlisberger and Rodgers, like it used to be like 45 to 40
It used to be
games. Like,
fights, man.
dude, it was nuts. Those are such fun games, though.
I mean, Prime Ben was different, and then they both declined and became cancer, and it's just like,
This is the
the
reflection
Giants have
show.
never been
Yeah.
good enough.
Everything
to play
was
down.
better back in the day.
yeah, like I remember when the Steelers used to get bailed out by high-end talent every single day, and then we got our asses kicked in the playoffs, and I'd flip shit and get pissed. Oh yeah, you remember 27-0 against the Browns?
Yeah,
No,
that was funny.
kill me.
That was really funny. I
No,
think
it's not funny.
25,000 people watched you
Save
have
me.
an actual
Save me.
meltdown on
Save
stream.
me. I think it was like
Yeah, that was
20,
good
but
for you,
save me,
ultimately.
Jesus.
Yes.
Save me, Jeepus.
It did work out.
Not really.
I mean, if you wanted the Browns to be bad after that, then it worked out.
I mean, it's kind of like they're a lot like the Pittsburgh Pirates. Like they were dog shit for 20 years. You get a few good years where you're good. You have your big moment in the playoffs. You have hope, and then you go back to being shit. Speaking of which, speaking of the Browns, when are they going to give up on Deshaun Watson? It's sad. Like we're down to like QBRs of like
They can't.
8, 7. He's the worst starting quarterback in the league right now. It was like the only one that was worse statistically was Bryce Young, and he's gone. Like they have no offensive line, but Deshaun just his shoulder's shot. Like
It really is the sunken cost fallacy happening in real time. Like the Haslams are like, man, we gave this guy all this money. We have to squeeze whatever football out of him he has, and just be damned. We paid him his money. We gotta go with this, And it's, if you've known anything, if you've been in relationships and or worked for a job where you're just like, I have to quit, then yeah, it's this bizarre mental trap that you get caught in, and they're just going to stick with him. They're until he's hurt. They're not going to bench him.
and the thing is too, like he was playing really easy pass defenses too, which is the weird part. Washington doesn't have a great pass defense.
They do not.
Dallas does not have a great pass defense.
It's
The Giants have a bad secondary.
Giants. The Raiders don't have a good pass defense.
like somebody's got, again, like the front office, like somebody's got to put on their big boy pants and go, all right, like we're just going to eat this money. Like
and
it's
then
going to
they
suck.
get fired because Jimmy
Yep,
Haslam's
like,
a metal
because,
shit.
exactly.
Mhm.
People are going to get fired. The
They need an
Texans
adult in
won
the room.
in one of the biggest lopsided trades ever. The
They need it.
Texans
Yeah.
so won.
Yeah.
And yeah, like this sets your team back.
Ooh.
Yeah, that
The-
trade is going to
Nice.
go down like Cowboys Vikings when
Herschel
they
Walker.
traded for Herschel Walker. This
yeah.
might be an even worse one when you really think about the damage. Like the Vikings, yeah, they got Herschel Walker, but they eventually recovered from that. The late
It's been
90s
10
Vikings were
years.
pretty badass, when they got Randy Moss, but I don't see the Browns recovering from this for a while.
But the
Like,
thing
they're
is,
just
too, is like we were
crap.
talking about this last year and we were talking about it definitely to start this season. All you would need is like an above average quarterback right now in Cleveland, and they will win you football games, especially when Nick Chubb comes back. And if he looks anything like he used to, which I really hope he does, they're going to win plenty of games. So again, someone's just going to have to make a decision, be like, yeah, it sucks. We're going to eat this money, but is there somebody with this team? Do we have the defense? Do we have the supporting cast that could actually make a run? And yeah, it's not the great circumstances, but maybe this is the window.
It's like they need like a Joe Flacco type there.
I mean, honestly,
Baker
I think
Mayfield-esque quarterback might.
Yeah.
honestly
Yeah.
they really need a Jameis Winston. They need somebody to eat those dubs.
They
Yeah,
could
I mean,
even get
they-
by with. Oh, go ahead.
I think they'll switch to Jameis. Like I would say within a month they will switch to Jameis.
I think it's coming.
If
Famous
Watson keeps
Jameis.
doing what he's doing and people keep posting videos of how many open receivers are open on red zone plays, you know how I know that shit? I watched it with one Russell Wilson week after week. Look at this play where Russ didn't make it. Who was open? KJ Hamler, Jerry Jeudy. Oh, Cortland Sutton was open here. Oh,
Jerry Jeudy not getting passes. He should know
all
about
of
that.
them are open here. They're doing the same thing to Watson. Like,
Watson was so good in Houston too. Like his first 4 years, he was just incredible. I wonder if, them missing those wide open receivers is the scouting report saying that, oh, he's not even going to look over there, so we can put our resources on someone else and stop that play, because that's, longevity in the league and him just not being able to see the field like he used to or have any confidence. It is frightening what Watson is doing out there in terms of his decline in ability.
but
I don't feel sorry for him.
It's so nice to see too.
But it's
Yes.
also
Couldn't happen
from
to a
a
nicer guy.
standpoint of, if you took the context out of it, of like how much money he was getting paid, the PR nightmare, what have you, he would not be a starter right now.
No,
Just like with the way it's being. If you just take a look at it very pragmatically of like, hey, you're winning us, he's not.
No,
And-
he might not even be on a roster.
And then you add in all the context, and you're like, it is so much worse. It's so much worse.
Josh, I wouldn't go that far, dude. I would not go that far.
I get that it's hindsight, but for the Browns to think that Watson was the missing piece between them and a Super Bowl run, it seems so absurd and so far from reality today.
Remember that they
But
blamed
back then
Baker
it
Mayfield because he played with a shoulder injury, and he was bad, but he should have never been playing. And now he's been traded and he's doing well in Tampa Bay, so it makes it even worse in hindsight because everyone knew Baker got fucked.
Yeah, it was fear of missing out, right? Like the Falcons were making a hard push for Watson,
Saints,
and the Saints, and
the Browns came out of nowhere.
The Browns, they were like, "Oh, we'll guarantee all this.
We'll
money
guarantee everything."
If those other teams want him, that's got to be a good idea. But it wasn't. Here's the thing. Here's a game I want to play, okay? And we can add Watson into the mix here. All right? Deshaun Watson, Drake Maye. Do you think well, actually, we'll just compare Drake Maye to these stat lines right now. Drake Maye going in for the Patriots. Do you think he can put up better numbers than Tyler Huntley or Jacoby Brissett from this last game here? Do you think Drake Maye can get over if he gets $160 and a touchdown, I'll call it a win. Yeah. Or 100 and he gets 200 yards and no interceptions. You think he can do that this week?
200's a lot.
It shouldn't be.
For the Patriots, like 200, I have a tough time saying
who they
he can hit 200.
They're playing Texans. Josh Allen couldn't get 200 against them.
Yeah.
The
did
Texans
you see
take
Caleb
a lot of
Williams
penalties.
running for his life against the Texans? Like, again, the interior offensive line, not good, but this is... Yeah, I don't know if he gets to 200.
You think he can get $160 and a TD?
I hope he can. I really hope. I hope for the guy that he can.
His projection's got to be like 150 at the most, right? Like, I've never seen so many low projections this year. The passing game is not yielding a lot of yards. Like, I could just see his projection being, look at that.
How about this
game? This one I could see a little bit more in line.
You think you can out Mason or Tyler?
I think Mason might be a good.
Hey. Mason Rudolph at least moved the ball.
He did. That was basically 3/4 of play. Another quarter, Mason could have got to 96 yards.
He was used to it on the Steelers. All they did was like short passes and hand off the ball.
Here's a real possibility. They could be getting their asses kicked, and they're just like, Drake, just let it loose. Just go fire some balls, and he gets over 100 yards. But 150, I see as being a mathematical improbability for Drake Maye. I'm going to go sub 150.
$125 and a TD. You think Drake Maye can get more than Deshaun Watson?
Complete about 50% of his passes, 125 and a TD.
Against a horde like...
I think that's where you're hoping to be.
Yeah. I think we should just have it like there's all these stats out there. There should just be is he better than Deshaun Watson every week? Like, is Drake Maye better than Deshaun Watson?
I'm fully on board with this.
Yes or
if
no?
you have a working shoulder, you're better than Deshaun Watson.
Right. So you know how
Cam Newton in retirement might be better than Deshaun Watson right now.
Hey, that's a better game for Deshaun Watson.
Yeah,
the
Raiders.
He also had an 80-yard pass that was held back because of a holding call.
Yes, correct. To Cooper.
That's the thing.
Whoa,
the Giants have a terrible secondary. And he missed wide open receivers in that game. Like he could not throw a deep ball to save his
I can't believe
life.
they didn't win that game. Jesus. Speaking of,
Yeah.
okay, so 5. What is your analysis on this? Because a game that I don't think people expected the Giants to win was that game, but also they beat the Seahawks. That D-line looked great. Daniel Jones played a pretty damn good game.
Tyrone Tracy.
Yeah, it was very shocking because we didn't have Malik Neighbors, who's been our entire offense up to that point. And Daniel Jones actually found Darius Slayton on a couple deep balls. And I was like, oh, what is this? Like Jones actually has a deep ball today. And when he does, he's very difficult. I mean, he's actually a competent NFL quarterback. Yes, Dexter Lawrence in the middle did a lot. They went blitz happy on the Seahawks, and they kind of showed you what you need to do to beat they gave the rest of the league a blueprint on how to beat the Seahawks because they just blitzed the whole time. But the Seahawks had a chance to tie it with 10 seconds left or whatever. And it would, if it wasn't for a blocked field goal, like they could have lost in overtime. That score is very deceptive. 29 to 20 is not an accurate. Seattle really had a chance to come back. And the Giants had a 23 to 13 lead late, and they blew it. They basically gave them an opportunity to get back in the game. So don't be fooled, but that wasn't a competent win by the Giants, but it was a win. It was just, there's a lot of hopium coming around from Giants fans. Like I thought they played well, but they have not had a convincing win in their 2 wins. Like the Browns game, they let the Browns hang around and come back in that. And then they blew a game against the Commanders, which they should have won. And the Cowboys, they had the opportunity to win and they didn't. So
I feel like it might just be because it's been a while since there's been some hope there, just a little bit, especially another season with Daniel Jones. All right. But
if you've been a fan of this team for the past 4 years, you know what the disappointment is coming. And anytime I get hope, like they should be able to beat Cincinnati, who hasn't played well, but now Cincinnati had a decent game against Baltimore. Their offense is starting to click, and this could be trouble for the Giants. And it's going to be Sunday night at the same time as the Mets game. You have to call both games.
The fortunate thing is, the Bengals defense is fucking atrocious.
It's not good.
Like it's bad all year. They've had a lot of injuries too. Dax Hill's out for the year. They've lost Trey Hendrickson. He's banged up. They have a couple other guys like Sam Halbert got banished to the shadow realm by a stiff arm from Lamar Jackson. Like it's bad. Like I mean, Daniel Jones could throw for over 300 yards, and I'm not joking when I say that.
Yeah, and he's getting Malik Neighbors back, so. Hopefully they get in sync, and they're going to have to put up a lot of points because their defense is it's going to be a tough game. I don't count on any Giants games ever. When they get to, if they get to 500, I'll start huffing that hopium. I'll start snorting it right off a stripper's ass. But until then, we're not there. We're not there. Brandon has never been to a strip club, has he?
Nope.
No, I didn't think so. Tree has found himself there at 2 a.m. one time by himself, and he's like, "Why am I alone in this strip club?"
I mean, hey, I don't judge myself when I go drinking.
I don't think I need to ever come here again.
Tom has not been to a strip club.
Nope, went one time.
Went one time.
Yeah, when I was in college, I was the driver because it was my buddy's birthday, so I was DD, and my buddy was like, "All right, pull over. We're going to go to the Blue Moon Strip Club in New Paltz, New York." And I went to school at SUNY New Paltz, and it was not a great time. I was just like, this is not my vibe. It's not my thing.
Yeah.
And also the birthday boy was also very not happy to be there either. So
I didn't like where I had to dance.
Well, listen, if you have the stuff, Brandon, you can't really complain. All right.
Yeah.
So just get up.
I didn't know I was going to have to take my clothes off and dance. So that was what was weird for me.
Mm.
I mean, I made a lot of money, but I didn't feel good about it that night.
That night.
When I went back the next night,
but then you probably you had a routine. You were able to prepare a little bit more. Yeah, no, I get it.
What would your stripper name be, Brandon? Woody Johnson? Sirloin?
That's a good question.
Broncos country?
Well, you know how Brandon gets ready for stripping? It's by using code That's Good Sports for Manscaped. Good
Yeah.
Sports. Got you, buddy. Got
Dick
you.
Clippers wouldn't be a bad one. I would
Dick
say
Clippers.
probably.
That's my name.
Well, I mean, that's your strip club name. I mean, how about Horsecock Lock?
All right, so we got some games coming up this weekend. Since I kind of previewed Giants and
Raging
Bengals,
Bronco.
who do you guys have coming up? And then we'll preview tonight's game, and then we can get out of here.
Oh, Bo
Right.
Dix is good. That's a good name.
Bo Dix is a great.
That's a
stripper
great name right there.
That's it.
Bo Dix.
Bodacious.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Classy. I like it.
We're playing the Cardinals.
Ooh,
Yeah, that's
interesting.
to be an interesting game. I am not confident in the run defense, so that I am terrified of James Conner and Kyler Murray running all over the place. But Jair Alexander's practicing, Watson's practicing, Romeo Dobbs is back and practicing. So I'm hoping the firepower is going to be there. If we have Jair back, I'll feel a lot better.
Yeah, the Cardinals are weird because it's like they are both a terrible team and a very good team. I don't know who
kind of
who they are,
deceiving.
really.
They have gaps
like-
of talent, but they have talent on that squad.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Kyler automatically gets them another 4 or 5 wins
Yep.
just by being there.
Mhm.
So yeah, I got the Cardinals.
You're picking against your team.
No, like I'm saying the Packers have the Oh my God,
Oh.
no. I'm picking Packers all the way. I'm saying
okay.
like that's the team. We got the Cardinals. So
Gotcha. Okay. Then who are you taking in this game?
the Packers all day, every day. I don't
Win
care
Pack
if
bar.
it's against an undefeated team.
So
I just want to know, how did you beat who last week? The
Beat the
Rams.
Rams.
Like, how did y'all beat you? Had a Kyler Murray-esque play. How did you come back and beat the Rams like that? You guys started off awful.
Establish that run in that second half. Also, Xavier McKinney, 5 interceptions in 5 weeks now. 5, yeah, and a fumble recovery. That
We
man,
just let him walk.
I love him so much. I am so happy. I was happy when we got him. I am so glad that has been validated, and I hope for number 6 on Sunday.
I just don't understand the mentality
Green
of
Bay.
letting McKinney go. He wasn't like asking for too much. He wasn't a burden on the secondary. He fit into the scheme. Like, I don't get it to this day. Like, why would you just let Xavier McKinney just walk like that?
Don't question it. I appreciate
Yeah,
it.
yeah. You're welcome. You're quite
That's
welcome.
for losing to Tommy DeVito.
Yes.
That's what we get.
yeah.
Perna, who do you guys got? Oh, yeah, you guys got.
Chargers.
Mhm.
Oh,
You better win this game.
Chargers.
Are their
You better
tackles
win this
still
game.
hurt? I think
I know
Chargers
they're
back-
day to day. I know like Alt might be back, Slater might be back, Bosa might be back, but it's still week to week with those
Yeah,
guys.
I don't care about Bosa. I never worry about him. He's literally done
Mm.
nothing in the last 5 years for that football team. Not scared of Bosa.
And just
worry
watch
way
him get
more-
3 sacks.
Every chance that Perna gets, he's just like, I just want to let you know, I do
Not
think
scared
he's
of
that
that
good.
man.
Yeah, you're not scared of Nick Bosa.
If their
whatever
tackles
Bosa
don't
is.
play, the Chargers are dead. We will destroy them. Our defense will, and Herbert can't run around too quickly. He's got
Oh, he's got
injuries
hope.
everywhere.
He's
His
got
ankle, his
hope.
plantar, his whatever.
Ankle.
Our secondary is
Ankle.
going to lock down the no receivers that they have, so that'll be easy.
Hey, Quentin Johnson hasn't been too bad this year.
no,
That's
he's
right.
been
He's
better.
got a
And
few
Lad
touchdowns.
McConkey,
He isn't dropping everything in sight.
he's all right too. But we've shut down better this year. If their
Mhm.
tackles are healthy, they have maybe a chance. And this is the
This-
first time my cockiness is
It's
real,
high
guys.
right
It is
now.
back.
Yeah,
Look at his
yeah,
confidence.
you can be
All right,
inside.
Now,
that's
our
a good
offense-
defensive
You are
game.
going to be very insufferable, dude.
Our
Oh, dude.
offense might just score 17 points, 20 points. I don't know.
I don't know if they even score that many, to be honest.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
might
you
score like
need to.
10.
It will. We're trading for Devontae Adams. We're getting or Tyreek Hill or somebody. We'll make a splash move. Amari Cooper, he'll be a Bronco. But
Didn't
yeah,
you curse your team?
nah. I mean, I don't know what you're talking about.
I mean, I think that's a double curse. Landing on the Chiefs and it didn't work,
I
So
think what's
now
going to
it's
happen
gonna
is this
be-
is going to prove that
and it gets a division
the
rival.
Broncos and the Chiefs are going to be in the AFC Championship game, and it will decide who actually is cursed then when it matters.
Mm.
I thought
have
you
to
said
do
you
that.
don't smoke weed. Like
have to believe
that, because that was a very high statement right there. The Broncos and the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game. Like, okay, it'll happen. You're trying to
If they
manifest
can
it.
even both get there, I don't know how the seeding actually works for that. What are the shaky? I don't know.
It's crazy. Steelers
Anything
and the
is
Raiders.
possible.
Oh, dude. The thing with the Raiders is they're a shit show right now. Antonio Pierce might not be a good coach,
Bro, the
which is, I mean,
Raiders, dude.
they're talking about that, and it turns into a shit show. It feels like the Raiders feel like they just checked out in the second half. Max Crosby, I don't know what's happening with him. He has like an entire body cast on him right now. Gardner Minshew sucks dick. And
Whoa!
Oh.
Those are-
All right, wait. That's not really.
Crosby had a good game against the
Whoa!
Broncos. Crosby is fine.
I mean, he sucked. I
And
would
if
say
he does, it's
that's
because he
level.
wants to. Okay. It's 'cause
I mean,
he wants
okay,
to.
I went a little too far though. Okay, I mean, he's probably into the
It'd be
good
nice
stuff
to
there.
Gardner.
But I mean, we're starting
Gardner.
AOC, which is like
Nice man.
Temu version of Derek Carr. Christian Wilkins is out for the year. They have a bunch of injuries, and what this tells me is this is a classic Steelers heinously play down to competition game. I have no idea why I'm thinking it's just past experiences. Whenever we head to the Raiders, except for last year when we played mixed snake oil, we always just play like shit. It is the weirdest thing. I know, like the last 2 times we've beaten the Raiders, but the problem is, like 18 lose to them. 12, I think, like against Gronkowski, we lost to them. We lost against them with Terrell Pryor. We made him look like he was prime Cam Newton. And something tells me, I don't know why, that we are somehow going to turn AOC into 2016 Derek Carr. I just don't know why, but it just, it's going to be ugly.
Dak threw for over 300 yards. I didn't expect that.
Well, I mean, honestly, the Cowboys should have won by 20. If you look at the PR totals, they doubled them up. It was just splash plays and bullshit. That's why the Steelers do anything. But I really think the bullshit will be real. I think the Steelers win by like a walk-off field goal, like a 60-yarder by Chris Boswell.
Yeah, it's going to be like 13-10, though.
Yeah, it's going to be bad. Trust me. It's going to be a bad football. Trust me. If you want watchable football, you're not watching the Steelers. That's why I've lost my fucking mind watching this team.
I have a question for you, Tree. Because Russell Wilson's starting to practice again this week, right?
Yes, he is full strength. Yes.
And Justin Fields has been solid, right? Mm-hmm. He didn't play as well last week. They lost. He played pretty good against the Colts. You guys still lost. Mm-hmm. He hasn't done anything like spectacular. He's been an elite game manager, really.
Yeah.
With he has, the ability for a dynamic play every now and then.
Yeah.
Are you at the point where Russ is getting worked back in, where you're starting to go, you know what? Maybe we should see what Russ brings here. Or are you like, let's just keep going with Fields?
I would say, honestly, I think this week will be the true test. If Fields keeps performing well against this Raiders defense, I say we're at the hot hand. But the moment he starts struggling, I think they're going to yank the cord and put in Russell Wilson. I think it's going to more or less play on how he's doing, how he's reacting to the defense. Because like last week was not good. Like he was missing a lot of throws. It was his weakest performance as a Steeler. But otherwise, I feel like the thing with Fields, he hasn't really given you major reasons to move off him just yet. Mm-hmm. I think he's more or less, he hasn't really shown his big play ability, but he's minimized mistakes and he's allowed the Steelers to keep in games, manage the ball. But now the question is with the Steelers, they're starting to get banged up, especially at linebacker. You're without Herbig and Highsmith, and you're down James Daniels is out for the year. Fatando's out for the year. The offensive line's getting battered. George Pickens is apparently the next graduate of the Steelers Diva College. But it just really it's a strange situation right now.
Fields clearly has a ceiling, and you've already reached it.
Yeah, he's a low end starter.
And you look at every quarterback that has saved their career. You look at Sam Darnold or Geno Smith. They both developed a deep ball. They went, and from the time that they weren't on the field, they were like, let me figure out what I can be to be an NFL quarterback. And Fields doesn't seem to have that. And maybe Russell Wilson can give you that. But I don't know. That's like choosing between two turds right there. I mean, you can't, which one's going to smell a little bit less?
Hey, with Russell Wilson, I can torture this man with him if he does well. And I'm putting up those high knees. I am going to huff that hopium left and right. Look, I had blinders on for Kenny Pickett. I wish he was still the quarterback, and I would be singing the praises of Kenny Pickett right now because he'd probably be doing the same shit Fields is right now. But the thing too, it's let's ride. Kill me. Great.
Okay. And then finally, the Bengals and the Giants. I already kind of previewed it. I don't know why this game is on Sunday night. That makes no sense.
I don't know why either.
It just shouldn't be, but I'll take it.
Why? Because they
Why?
give the Giants a disproportionate amount of Sunday night games, whether they're
They
bad
do.
or good.
Yeah,
Because they
get
know
rated.
that
We give
us
the Cowboys
huffing-
a lot of shit for their primetime games.
Mhm.
The Giants get just as many.
The
Every
Jets
time.
have the most games this year, which
the
is
Jets.
ridiculous.
Well, everyone wants to see Aaron Rodgers.
Well, Aaron
Yeah, but at
Rodgers
least, like,
isn't
that's
fucking
new.
good. He's
I'll
not
watch
good this year.
Rodgers tank.
He is not.
Or be
Are
great.
you laughing at that, Tom? Are you just looking at Aaron's decline and just being like,
Oh
yeah,
no!
we made the
So
right
here,
move?
like when it comes to his actual like on the play field, like dude, like I want to see Aaron Rodgers light it up because I was like, man, like I'd like to see that for another season because it in no way impacts the Packers, right? So our draft pick is not there. Like I just want to go out and like see him ball
not
out.
even mid.
Like the fact that you see Alan Lazard like being their number one wide receiver, I was like, yeah, that makes total sense.
Yeah.
However, what I am laughing at is the entire situation and like Jets fans getting sick of the BS. And I'm just like, yeah, no, like we dealt with this for years. And like, that's just what comes with it. And again, Aaron Rodgers is a very talented football player, but like there's stuff that comes with it. And
I don't blame
you know?
CBS for
Yeah.
blocking that. That's
and
the
he can
reason.
get away with that when he's a two-time how many
Absolutely.
MVPs does Aaron Rodgers have? He can do that, but now when he's mid, he better start considering shutting his mouth or just but he
No.
won't.
He's got fuck
already
you
set
money.
in
He's
his
never
ways.
going to shut his mouth.
Does before we get to the Thursday night game, does Robert Salah seem like a guy that was just screwed by circumstance? Like he could get a second chance and actually coach somewhere. And are there any other guys that you can think of where that happened, where they just walked into a really bad situation and there was no way that they were going to succeed, no matter how good they were? Because like guys like Pat Shurmur or fucking Ben McAdoo or Joe Judge are never going to get jobs again. But I see like Salah getting a job again.
yeah, well, he's going to be a DC because I think the one thing that's been consistent this entire time, regardless of his like record and performance as a head coach, which I think you can scrutinize, his record as a DC has been great, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a reason why 49ers fans, well, besides their current DC, but are also like, please come back, like come back home. We would love you as a DC. Packers fans are like, hey, Matt LaFleur and my friends, could you be like assistant defensive coordinator? So I think he brings that to the table. And I don't think as head coach of the Jets, his defensive strengths ever wavered. Like I think that was pretty consistent.
They've had an
the
elite
entire
defense
time.
the whole time.
Yeah, they've had a great defense. I think you can criticize the offense. I think there's other people to criticize for the offense's performance.
Woody Johnson.
But yeah, no, he's definitely going to get a shot, in the next coaching cycle at bare minimum as a DC.
Mm-hmm.
And
Woody
like
Johnson
players
is-
like him too. Like
Yeah.
the guys like playing for Robert. So I think that goes a long way. And I think for him to get another head coaching chance, he would have to show like what he can bring to the offense of a football team, or be partnered with an offensive coordinator that they know is going to work with him. And so many
What does that
coaches,
say
their
about
success
Hackett,
depends
Tom?
on QB as well. Like especially for a defensive head coach, you know what I mean? But whatever.
I have one more question. Who is a bigger fraud in NFL lore, Adam Gase or Nathaniel Hackett?
Gase.
I feel it was
Dude, Gase
Gase.
had multiple coaching chances. He was able. He routed off the back
Peyton
of
Manning's
Peyton Manning.
guy.
Yeah, any of us could call plays for Peyton Manning and look good. Let's be real here.
I would
And Adam
say
Hackett-
you want a damning testament to Adam Gase? Sam Darnold. We ruined that dude in New York, and now he's finally balling in a real system.
I would say he's better than Nathaniel Hackett as a coach, though.
Well, Nathaniel
Not
Hackett
better
was
with
just
players.
himself.
As a head coach, I would
take.
agree. 100% I would agree.
Yeah.
Like, it's not good. Like, don't get me
No.
wrong. It is not good. I don't want either of them. But in terms of just the way it's translated and That's
It's
not
like
What-
choosing
what a
between
time.
stabbing out your eyes or cutting out your tongue. Like, I don't know. They both sound bad.
Oh, look, let's choose between Adam Gase and Nathaniel
bringing it
Hackett.
back.
What are we doing here?
Tonight,
Come on.
though, tonight I think is
Yeah.
a really interesting game. I think it's a total
Yes.
coin flip because 49ers
49ers,
Seahawks. I would have
Seahawks.
picked the Seahawks, but then the Giants game happened.
And the
Mhm.
49ers are
They're
just they're
still not healthy.
they're destroyed.
Yep, they're both
Yeah.
two unhealthy teams.
I mean,
Yeah,
the
it's hard to
Seahawks
pick
are
this
healthier
game
than the
tonight.
Niners. Seahawks are a little banged up on defense, but their defense just isn't good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with a low-scoring game. I think maybe the Seahawks pull it out because they're at home. Because the 49ers just haven't played well, and
they
you
did
know
not.
their offense, everything is nothing
They were just
resembles
bad in
what
their
it
red
was
zone
last year.
week.
Yeah, no
They were bad in the red zone.
McCaffrey, none of their skill players. Seahawks, you know, they could have beaten the Giants. They were down to a field goal at the end. They were special teams away. So I'm gonna say the Seahawks over the Niners, like 18-7.
Mhm.
Oh, you have to remember, K Cub. There was a certain event that broke Matt Nagy that year in 2018. That's all I'm gonna say.
It's when he got booed.
What a time to be alive when Urban Meyer and Nathaniel Hackett were both head coaches at the same time
In
That
the
was
NFL, and it was a train wreck for both.
crazy. What a time.
Dude, look at the past 5 years. We've been
coach, Hackett OC, Matt Patricia DC. Give me the Holy Trinity. Give me the Holy Trinity, guys.
Freddie Kitchens tight ends coach. Let's go.
Yeah. Joe Judge special teams. Let's go. Bring him in.
Actually, I would swap Gase for Hackett because you can say what you want about Hackett. He's a nice guy, and I think like players like him. I don't know if they respect his game calling, his play calling, but like Gase, Meyer, Patricia. I think that for players
That's
would
the
be
whole. That's the
ultimate help.
triumvirate. Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I got 49ers tonight.
Okay.
Beat
Tree?
up, but I got
I'm
them.
going to say Seahawks because the Niners have been really good at like ripping hope from their fans' hearts like repeatedly. I think it's just going to be like it's going to be a Deus Ex Machina injury or something like Purdy goes down or Jordan Mason goes down or the kicker goes down again and Geno Smith pulls off a game-winning comeback drive. Ooh, Patrick Ben McAdoo. That's a good one.
Did Mike McDonald really wear that run the damn ball hat? Yeah.
Hugh Jackson is running backs coach.
Run the damn ball, Mike McDonald. I picked the Niners, but if the Seahawks do run the damn ball, they've got a chance.
Yeah.
It's this game. It's going to be decided very late. It's going to be like 20-20 in the fourth quarter or something. But I'll stick with the Niners for now. The Seahawks still they have too many key injuries on defense. And if the guys are
who's
playing, they're
GM?
still like not 100%. So
Bill
I think
Belichick.
is Woolen out now too? They're missing Woolen as
Woolen's
well.
out.
Woolen, I know he's banged up.
Fudge.
Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. Their defense, like their D line is dead. Like that injury report is not fun.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone's injury report's pretty much destroyed right now. This year has been it's been something.
Not my
Football.
team.
Seems to happen.
That's
every
right.
year.
There you go, Perna.
Okay. Do we need to do the countdown? We all did it for charity, right? Are we going to compare who?
I think
raised the
just for
most?
tradition, we should count it down.
Okay.
Honestly,
we'll count
smart
it.
idea.
Tradition. That's right. I don't know what I'm going to rhyme it with. Here we go. 2019, 18, 17, 16, 15, 4. The expectations for Drake Maye are on the floor. Oh yeah, don't know if he's gonna throw a little or a lot. We just don't want him to die back there and take a shot. No. Stay safe, Drake Maye. Honestly, you know what? That's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that.
That was
Not knowing
good.
what
Yeah.
else to
The
say. That's pretty
expectations
good.
on the
nice.
floor.
Yeah,
Bars.
pretty good. Thanks. I was pretty
Bars.
impressed with that.
We raised about $50 for charity.
Hey,
Thank
let's
you
go.
all.
Let's
Appreciate
go.
it. Every little bit counts.
Definitely. It looks like I raised about 300. I want to thank Xavier Buxton, Carol Calvert, a couple anonymous donations, Irvin Alvarado too. Thank you all for donating to Direct Relief. So I appreciate each and every one of you for doing.
We did 565.
Let's
Let's
go.
go.
Fuck yeah.
That's
Tom,
right.
what'd you do?
Yeah.
You guys are awesome.
669.
Ooh,
Yes.
oh, dude,
69?
you should have given 3 less so you could done the 666 and then pull up the
Nice.
double horns.
Nice number.
I think
Yeah.
it should, if
Hey,
you
I
raise the
appreciate it.
most for charity, you should be rewarded. Like instead of a punishment.
Tom,
there
you
should
got
be
to stream
reward.
the game tonight as your reward.
Oh man, the thing I was already gonna do.
Ah,
How will I ever
terrible.
recover?
Yeah, you
All
have to
right.
recreate the Alex Jones before and after pick. Yeah.
I have to
But
paint
in-
myself orange.
In the third quarter,
Yes.
you have to work in Michael McDonald song lyrics while you're streaming.
Michael
Ooh,
McDonald song lyrics.
For Mike McDonald to match Mike McDonald, the head coach.
So for like O McDonald.
No, Michael McDonald.
Greatest
You don't know
quarterback
Michael McDonald?
Oh,
Yeah,
I
you never heard of
thought-
Mike McDonald?
I'm
He
sorry.
sings.
I
what's
thought you
like
were
a-
talking about the Seahawks head coach. That
Yeah,
he put
I
out
am.
a song, and I
No,
was like,
Michael McDonald, the musical artist.
got it.
You have to use his lyrics for Mike McDonald, the Seahawks.
What is?
head coach.
Can anyone name a Mike McDonald song?
What?
Well,
a
he
fool
played for. He
believes.
was with the Doobie Brothers for a bit. Ain't no math and high enough. He did one of those. He did a cover of that, but
Okay.
he was with the Doobie Brothers for a hot minute.
I can't name a single song.
All right, so I'll be
It's like-
streaming tonight. So yeah, I'll be live around 8:00.
China Grove.
Stream. Yeah.
All right.
We can end it. Love y'all.
Love y'all.
Stay safe, Scooter. Stay safe
Yeah.
in Florida. Stay safe where in
Scooter was
Asheville,
here.
North Carolina,
I
everywhere.
heard.
Yeah. He was here?
That's what you
Where
said.
was Scooter? No,
That's
he
all
was.
I know.
He's in our hearts and in our minds.
Oh, we got a late $60 donation. Thank you, Justin Chan.
Ooh,
All
very
right.
nice.
Appreciate it. Okay, end the stream. See y'all.
Scooting around in a hurricane.
Heart.
Don't know when the wind's gonna stop.
Brandon just disappeared. He just doesn't end the stream. He just goes. All right, I ended it.